Hey everybody, this is Jim from Jim's Holiest of Coleus. How's everybody doing? How's your Coleus doing? Oh, I put, as I mentioned in many of my other videos, this is early summer. Or summer hasn't really even started, but I like to take all my Coleus out on the table here, harden them off, get them used to being outdoors, and again, go through each one, trim what needs to be trimmed, check them out, and this is how you get fabulous Coleus. So, and I was just in the middle of putting all. This is really the best I have. I have a lot more in my greenhouse, and they just look so beautiful that I said, you know what, I know I want to do a video a week to keep in touch with you guys and to show you how quickly things change, how quickly your Coleus will respond once you're, again, I'm in New Jersey. Once you start getting into that hot, humid weather, I said, let me shoot the video tonight. It's about 7:30. I still have about an hour of good light left. It's a little breezy, but what a beautiful, beautiful night to show off these beautiful, beautiful Coleus, and they still have. Still have much growing to do, so you can imagine the lucky people who are going to have these once I open the when I go to the farmers market soon. But here they are for you to admire. And what's beautiful, what's really nice is that you guys, by following along, hopefully I can teach you what I do. And it's not that difficult. You can absolutely grow your own Coleus like this. It's not hard. You just have to put a little effort in, some patience, and each year you do it, you get better at it. You make mistakes, as I have, but each year you do better and better, and your Coleus become better and better. And this is great also, this nice bright, this is like a little breeze, as you can see. It gets that oxygen pumping through, and these Coleus are loving it. And this is just a small portion. This is really the best of all my pots. And again, this is some ideas from you, for you, if you're growing your own from seed and you want to make yourself or others little pots. These are tremendous gifts. People really respond to these, and it's so much better than cut flowers because they just keep giving for months and months on end. And you can pass along my YouTube channel to everybody, and we can make sure that they get hooked on it also. There's that's an electric lime, in the family of electric lime, and as you can see, I think that's a seed pod developing. We're going to keep an eye on that. I'm going to trim that. Look at these beautiful colors. And again, see, there's a few. These are very delicate. These are very, very delicate. I have a few. These are basically the same Coleus, and they actually were part of a Coleus, the seeds from Coleus. But look, those need to be trimmed. This is some damage you're going to get. And there's some Kongs. You'll get your Kongs generally are pretty large, but they also, I've had them grow these little dainty Kongs. Not that saying this won't grow out to be a large plant, but look at that, isn't that beautiful? It's a nice breeze, and I'm not worried about damage to these. Not like that spring wind that I was telling you about, to be careful about. These are pretty mature now. They're anchored in pretty well, and this really helps to get them used to being outdoors. But you don't want to put them out during like heavy downpour, rain, thunderstorms, or anything like that. But as you can see here, it's just all Coleus. that beautiful? These are Kongs, and they're absolutely my favorite. I grow so many of these. This is probably the one Coleus that I grow the most of, because these really are the ones that move. People just love it. They go right, they gravitate right to them. And this is also a Kong. It's a little different variation. So again, I just have a whole bunch of, I have so many Coleus seeds, so many Coleus seeds, and they just, you'll get different type of Coleus. There's a jitters. Again, those are the jitters that I tell you about that are great for hanging baskets. And speaking of hanging baskets, I think I have around 14 hanging baskets here. And remember the video from last week. See if we can get a little different angle on these. Excuse my shaky camera work. As you can see, it's just some ideas if you want to do hanging baskets. Here's my jitters I was telling you about, how they just perfect for hanging baskets. They just kind of hang down, and you just fill out. And even when you do get these, and once you get them outdoors, like this is ready to go outdoors, you know, move it around, hang it every couple of days, turn it around. If it's hanging on a hanger hook, move it around, turn it around every couple of days. Gives it a little different aspect of light, moves the plant around towards the sun. Healthy. Some window box planters. And here we go, we got, this is a painted nettle. That is another variation of a jitters, and of course a Kong variation. But again, Kongs, a little different variation in jitters, but they're just all different. Look, this is off of a Kong, one of the Kong seeds. It just, call it genetics or what have you. It just different. They all have their characteristics, the same characteristics. Your green, your pink, fuchsia, whatever you want to call the white. But some of the traits are more dominant than others. You may get more pink and a little less white, and you get sort of that black there. And that's what's so exciting about each year that I do this, that you're going to get that variation. And there are hundreds and hundreds of Coleus, and they're always coming out with different types of Coleus strains. Look at that gorgeous hanging basket. And that here, I believe that's a black cherry, or dipped in chocolate, or cherry dipped in chocolate Coleus. That would be a kaleidoscope, or some called a finger paint. That's another variation of a jitters. And of course a Kong. And again, this one has a little more pink, has more pink characteristics. The pink is the dominant trait of this particular seed, the way it grew. Could be so much the soil, so many different reasons. So this one here is a Kong, and you have your black dominant rather than the white, and you have some pink, obviously. So that's what's exciting about these. And again, the bigger the pot, the better. You know, this is like a 5-inch, just a regular cheap planter. I think I bought flowers from the supermarket, and I just saved the pot because I know I like to use these in nice compact little pots. A beautiful night too. The birds are happy, the Coleus are happy. These will all fill out. You got some needs to be trimmed. See there? There's a seed stalk coming in, and it's early, so you will get seed stalks all through the growing cycle. So just snip them. You don't need them right now, unless you're on the Eastern Hemisphere and you're approaching the end of fall and winter, and you're going to propagate, collect seeds, and let them grow. But if you're in the Western Hemisphere and you are growing in the early stages like I am here, then you don't need seeds. So here's a beautiful little arrangement. There's all Jim's Wholiest of Coleus, a little smaller. Let's put a light on the subject now. See, these are just perfect little pots from the dollar store, Target. They all sell different types. That's a nice Saturn right there. And that again was that was 2 rootings that I just put it in the pot, and it's doing fabulously. There's a painted nettle. So again, if you're following along, just keep doing what you're doing. Trim the tops, as you can see there. I trim the tops. Still have some of these. Your leaves will start to get a little, some of them will get damaged. Just go through them, trim them as you see. You're not going to kill your Coleus. You're not going to do anything. There's nothing you're going to do up here that's going to damage or kill your Coleus. One thing you don't want you do, and you have to be careful with your smaller pots like this, is you don't want to consistently go through the cycle of it completely drying out and then watering it. So you don't want to keep going through that cycle where it just completely dries out, which means you're not taking care of it. It doesn't take much to give these water every day or every other day. But you don't want to leave it for days on end and go through that cycle of completely drying the soil out. And this is Miracle Grow. This has the moisture crystals in it, so it's pretty good, but it doesn't take much to dry out a little pot like this. So you don't want to do that, because it damages, it will kill or it'll just make for an unhealthy Coleus. Sun, shade. These are small pots. These are not meant to stay in sustained sunlight all day. They need some sun. Indirect sunlight with some shade is ideal. When I have them in my greenhouse, I put the shade net over. I have the shade net. I never let these bake on sun. Once they get really large, once they start getting big and like this in a nice heavy pot, these can withstand sustained sunlight. And this is still a relatively small pot, but it's clay. I have good Miracle Grow soil. I water it, but this can go through sustained sunlight. Needs a little trimming. This is an outdoor. This is mine. So remember, once they get to the point that's as high as I want them to go, and you can apply this to all your Coleus plants. Keep trimming the new growth that comes in. I don't let this grow any taller. and that will keep that, just all that new growth is coming in and filling in, and that's how you do it. See there, that needs to be trimmed because this is really as tall as I want it to go. I have all that new growth to come in. You can argue I can even cut these tops here, but at this point this is a big monster, and I'm letting the sun and humidity work its course on that, because that's a beautiful plant now. So as we start getting into this, the summer, I spend less time trimming, going over each and every single one of them, as opposed to I just go through each one and see, identify problems, bugs, or ripped or torn leaves. And there is, let's get a close up, there's a seed stalk coming in. It really shows here. There we go. There's a seed stalk coming in, so we're just going to pinch that off. You don't need it. And again, if you let seed stalks continue to grow, that's a trigger mechanism on the plant. It's going to seed, and that's telling the plant that it's going to die, that it's time to reseed itself, and it takes an awful lot of energy to develop these seed stalks. So all this growth down here is going to get all that energy, nutrition is getting taken away from the development of the plant. So you want to cut your seed stalks now. You don't need them right now. And here's some regular singles, and these are going to be either in hanging baskets or pots. Just some really beautiful singles. These are from a wizard mix. They're just the darker reds, burgundies with the green edging. Those you'll generally get in your wizard when you buy a wizard mix of Coleus. They're generally the non-colorful, like this. Kongs are generally included in your rainbow mix. So if you buy a packet of rainbow mix Coleus seeds, generally you will get all these colorful Coleus. Kongs, jitters like this here, and so forth. Really beautiful. So this is really, as you can see, not all of my stock. This is pretty much the best of what I have. I still have a few pots inside the greenhouse. So there we go. Hanging baskets. So again, use my videos as references if you're going to make your own pots up. These are just great ideas for you. Now inside my greenhouse, I'll go take a look here. I'll show you what I have there real quick before we finish up. Okay, so like I said, I still have lots more in here that are really growing. I have this larger, I didn't bring this one out, but I have all my singles here still. A couple other, there's a Darth Vader, my Darth Vader Coleus Endures is a more of an underdeveloped hanging basket. A few more window box planters in here, trays of singles. I have plenty of singles. These are all mostly greens and some wizard. There's a couple of Kong variation colors in here, but again, these I use I'll either sell individually for people who want to make their own or plant them in the ground, or I still have some pots to make. There's a few more of those ovals, and there's that little, I have one of those hang left over from last year. So some more singles, and I use the catering trays, they're very easy, and some more of those colored pots. There's a single fella, very stubborn, but we're not gonna give up on that guy. There's a Saturn. It's another rooting. It's doing fabulous. I just didn't have any room on the table, otherwise I'd bring these out. But you can see they're doing fine. I just gave them some, it was about 2 weeks ago, I gave them some Miracle Grow. I just gave them another light feeding. I made sure all of them were watered. And I like to, in the hot, humid weather, I like to dump some water on the floor in the trays here. I'll put a couple of trays here filled with water. It just boosts the humidity levels in here. I have a little humidistat in here that lets me know the humidity level. And it's around 50. It's cool. It's very cool. It's not that humid tonight. Actually cooled off and off a lot. But I really try to boost the humidity. And also I have the fan. Very important to keep the fan circulating. So okay, so keep doing what you're doing. If you have any questions, obviously just leave me a comment. Happy to help out. I know one of my subscribers had asked me if I can name the Coleus that I have, which I tried to today. I know most of them. There are hundreds and hundreds of Coleus plants. There are so many, and again, there's a few online places that I try to buy new Coleus each year for myself, but I primarily stick to what you see here: the Kongs, the Jitters, the Defiance Coleus, the Painted Nettles. I have a few of the Neon Green, but I really just stay with these few types of Coleus. I enjoy them, and people really love these. They seem to grow the easiest. I have such great results with these Kongs. There are some Coleus that are very, very difficult to grow, or they just they don't do as well as I found with these Kongs, so I stick with them. And they're beautiful. I mean, I can't deny that these aren't gorgeous, eye-popping. And what better Coleus than these when you plant hundreds of different seeds, and each plant has its own personality. One is a little more red, one's a little more black, one has a little more green, one has more white. You see what I mean? So that's why I like to stay with these. And again, the Jitters, the same thing. Jitters, different. They all want to say mutate or whatever, but they all have their own characteristics. Some have a little more broad leaf, less color. Some of them have more of the pink color, almost like a Kong color variation. So that's why I like to use those here. So here's a Jitters that has just a little bit of red in the center, just up this, right up this spine. And again, the larger your pot, you could put 2 or 3 Coleus. I usually put 3 in a pot that size. It just fills up and you have a beautiful, beautiful plant. So, all right, so we'll keep updated on what we're doing here. Keep doing what you're doing. And any questions, comments, absolutely leave me leave me a question and I'll get right to you. Again, Facebook, Instagram. I'm on Instagram daily. And of course, we'll keep these videos going, at least one a week as we progress. So, okay, everybody, have a great week, great weekend. Thanks for watching Jim's Wholiest Coleus.